Today we are going to do some more practice on how to approximate non-perfect squares without a calculator and with a calculator. So let's look at number 1 without a calculator. So the square root of 57 is between which two whole numbers? So we know that the square root of 57 is non-perfect because if we think to ourselves, what two whole numbers that are the same can we multiply that will give us 57? There isn't one. So we need to come over here and look at our square roots and figure out where the square root of 57 would go. So the square root of 57 goes between 49 and 64. So we know that the square root of 57 is between 7 and 8. Number 2, the square root of 3 is between which two whole numbers? So the square root of 3 goes between the square root of 1 and the square root of 4. So I know that the square root of 3 is between 1 and 2. Number 3, the square root of 7 is between which two numbers? So the square root of 7 would go between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. So I know the square root of 7 is going to be between 2 and 3. Number 4, the square root of 87 is between which two numbers? So the square root of 87 is going to be between the square root of 81 and the square root of 100. So I know that it is between 9 and 10. That is how to approximate non-perfect squares without a calculator. Now we are going to use a calculator since you will be able to have a calculator in the 8th grade. Right now, since most of you just have your phones, I'm going to be showing you how to do it on an iPhone. So let's look at number 1, the square root of 102. So I'm going to type in 102, and then I'm going to hit this button right here that has a 2, a square root, and then an X underneath it. And I get 10.0995 and some more numbers. So like I said in the previous video, non-perfect squares are also irrational. You can see that here. It is non-repeating and non-terminating. So all non-perfect squares are going to be irrational. So this number is going to be between, I'm going to look at this one. So the first number is 10. So it's going to be between 10 and 11. Okay, if you are not sure, if you don't want to use a calculator, you can always come and check your square roots. The square root of 102 is between 10 and 11. Okay, number 2, 152. So the square root of 152 is 12.3288. It is also irrational since it is non-perfect. So I'm going to look at the first number, that is 12. So I know that it is between 12 and 13. Number 3, the square root of 129 is 11.3578. So I'm going to look at the first number. It is 11. So it's between 11 and 12. And number 4, the square root of 140 is 11.832. So I look at the first number. So it is between 11 and 12. So again, if you're not sure, you can always come look at your square roots. So the square root of 140 is between 121 and 144. Therefore, I know it is between 11 and 12.